Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our morning forum that are being done virtually. First of all, I would like to thank all the audience, distinguished guests, and all the participants attending our online forum discussion today. For our forum discussion topic today is about a public interest topic, women's rights in Malaysia. Before we begin, I would like to introduce our fellow panel that will share their knowledge and opinion with us in our virtual forum today on the topic that we're going to discuss. Okay, our first panel is Dr. Adlin, the Chief Executive of Women Organization in Malaysia. Our second panel is Dr. Sharminey, the Vice Chancellor of University Utara Malaysia. Our third panel is Deputy Inspector NASUHA of National General Police. And our last panel is Dr. VANNESSA LIEW, Medical Officer from National Domestic Violence. Okay, so welcome to our forum today. I hope all of you are in a good health. With me, Norina, as your chairperson and moderator today. Nowadays, women's rights are taking a new turn. Let's take a moment to recognize the history being made in front of us. Over the past year, the landmark policy has been passed in countries across the world, and many of them granting women the basic rights, just like in the United States. But there is still so much work to do, especially as more horrific details come to light. That's example like the Sarah Everett's abduction case, the death by a London police officer, which has sparked the most protests in Britain and all around the world about women's rights. While women in different parts of the world continue to suffer in many different ways, especially now during the global pandemic COVID-19, and acknowledging these victories through long overdue will help hopefully renew and strengthen the calls for gender equality. For your information, there are many organizations that help empower women's rights and equality with the community. We have witnesses that women are leaving their mark within the world and show that we could stand independently. Women's rights comes in many categories, with which our panel today, we will share their knowledge and experience within this our topic today, the women's right in Malaysia. For further info about this topic, we will seek an information from our first panelist, Dr. Adlin, about sexual harassment within workplace and what usually the type of harassment that are usually happen to us. So Dr. Adeline, please share with us your experience and knowledge within this topic.
Thank you to Chairman. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. I am Dr. Adlin as a panel one for today's forum. So today's forum, I will discuss about sexual harassment of a woman at the workplace. Sexual harassment is one of the most common forms of a violation of a person's bodies and dignity, and it is a problem faced by many working women every day. So sexual harassment at the workplace has been publicly recognized as a serious issue that violates a person's dignity and creates an intimidating and hostile environment not only for the affected parties, but potentially also for others who may witness or be aware of the harassment. There have been many cases of sexual harassment at the workplace, but these have not been reported to the authorities or dealt with appropriately. In Malaysia, cases of this issue at the workplace is also higher. In addition, the Ministry of Human Resources, which is MOHR, has formulated a code of practice on the prevention and eradication of sexual harassment in 1999. However, there is a general dissatisfaction with this code of practice because although it aims at regulating conduct of the employers and the employees at the workplace, it does not have the force of law. It acts a mere practical guideline. But this code of practice is for guiding principles and procedure for employers in setting up a mechanism for employers act fairly when dealing with cases of sexual harassment. So to introduce this code to the employers and employees, the ministry has conducted several seminars and workshops. To that, at the 85 seminar or workshop has been conducted by the ministry. Regarding to this code, even it's not a force of law, but it's very important to introduce to the organization. We as women working, we as a working woman have to know this code of practice. So that is the weapon for us to do the same report or some report about being harassed by someone at the workplace. So next, we move on to the what constitutes sexual harassment at the workplace. Sexual harassment may take many forms, some of which may be subtle, while others may be more explicit, but all of which are bound to cause quite much embarrassment to the victim. So the typical example is unsolicited compliments regarding a person's figure, dressing, makeup, style of movement, way of talking, and more. Secondly, sexually tainted jokes, rumors, comments, new items, and last but not least is physically molesting female staff by touching parts of their bodies. As we can say is, sexual harassment is not about relationship between men and women. Sexual harassment is a manifestation of abuse of power. Therefore, great care and caution should be taken into consideration in finding solution to this problem, as this is a sensitive issue which relates to a woman's dignity. Last point that I want to highlight for today's forum is the consequences of sexual harassment. We know that the impact of the act of the sexual harassment can be very significant both on the victim as well as the organization too. So here I want to mention about two impacts toward the personal impact and the organization. So firstly is about personal impact. Sexual harassment can lead to negative consequences for the victim, such as they will have a lesser satisfaction with their jobs, greater intention to resign or retire, and health condition of the victim also will affected. At the same time, female victim also experience tension, anger, and anxiety or depression, while a limited number of experience depression and guilt. There are also instances where victim may also feel need for medical or psychological attention. Last but not least is sexual harassment may also impact on the organization, and this may lead to high turnover, absenteeism, decrease in productivity, lack of incentive to innovate, and inefficiency. In conclusion, we as women know our rights and how to protect ourselves, especially at the workplace. Please make a report to your superior officer about you have been harassed. For men out there, do not take an advantage to women nowadays. Spread this awareness about this issue because people tend to forget about these important issues. So thank you. That's all from me.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Adli, for the info and knowledge. We now know that the case involving sexual harassment within within women in the workplace are needed to be taken seriously. So without further ado, we will continue. We have a second panelist, Dr. Sharminey, where she will share with us info about education within women. How it plays important part within the women community. So, Doctor, please share your thoughts within this topic.
Thank you to the chairman and greetings to everyone. From my point of view, in women rights or education, everyone has the right to get an education, but especially women has the equal right with men to get an education. The level of education of women or girls empower them. It contributes to the elimination of all forms of discrimination and violence against women and girls. The violence case against women will be reduced if women has an education. Educated women and girls will be more knowledgeable, so they can make a right decision in their life. The right of women to get an education is one of the most important of all rights. This is because education plays an important role in girls and women life. They can secure their other rights by that. They will get to know their other rights. Education also benefits women in many ways. With an education, women will understand more about their rights, and they will get more knowledge about what is needed for their well-being in their life. So there will be no situation for them to be dependent on others to survive in their lives. Women with an education also will get job opportunities. They will be employed based on their education. So the standard of living of the woman will be improved. So in short, women rights in education is very important for women's life. That's all from me for today. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sharmini. Okay, from her information, we know that education is vital for everyone. We have witnessed nowadays that women are eagerly to gain knowledge in order so we can stand equally with men within the space, in the same place. Okay, so for our next panel here, our third panelist topic is have a little bit connection with what Dr. Adeline has shares about. Now this topic is going to have a relation within it. Okay, Inspector Nasuha knowledge and experience within human trafficking involving women. So she will share. So Inspector, please share with us your experience and knowledge within this.
Okay, all right. Thank you to our moderator. The next point is I want to explain about the women right, which is activity trafficking among women that becoming more prevalent nowadays. Everyone knows that trafficking in women is not a new phenomenon, but in the recent decades, it has emerged as a serious problem, requiring new solution. Here, in this forum, I want to highlight data based on the prevalence crime show that there are approximately 800,000 people trafficked across international borders annually, and majority, 80% are women or girls and 50% are minor. The above mentioned statistics justify the thesis that this form of human rights violation is gender determined and has such constitute discrimination against women. Today, trafficking has become an international industry that traffickers profit from the unequal social and economic status of women around the world. Although the terms of trafficking in women is not new, the problem appears to be increasing and acquiring grave new dimension in the recent context of globalization. Alright, in general, women are usually trafficked for the purpose of sexual and economic exploitation, particularly prostitution and pornography, forced labor, including for work in commercial agriculture and domestic work, arranged marriage or to be sold as bride, recruitment for participation in hostility and such related purpose as sexual services, portage and domestic function in conflict situation. Concerning the trafficking of women, so in the international system of human rights protection, the United Nations, UN has framed Warriors Convention, Protocol, and Treaty to combat trafficking in human beings, especially in women. On 1951, the Convention for the Suppression of the Traffic in Person and of the Exploitation of the prostitution of other entered into force. The document is limited to suppression of all forms of exploitation of including recruiting victims for that purpose. Another legal adopt within the framework of the UN on the issue of trafficking in women is the 1979 Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, CEDAW. This act stipulates that state parties should take all appropriate measures, including legislation, to suppress all forms of traffic in women and exploitation of women. In addition, the organization also undertake activity in order to raise public awareness on trafficking in persons and increase solidarity with the victims, such as Blue Heart Campaign, which is a global initiative to fight human trafficking, especially among women, by stimulating government, civil society, the corporate sector, and individuals alike through participation in preventive this trafficking among women. I want to emphasize that human trafficking is the most serious crime against humanity that violates human rights and human dignity and exposes human beings to exploitation. Therefore, through the forums, I hope that the international European and in national legal instruments on preventing and combating human trafficking should take into account this specificity of trafficking in women in order to be more accurate and in consequence more effective. All right, that's all for me. Thank you.
All right. Okay, well, thank you, Inspector Nasuha. We know that trafficking, mostly of its victim is women. We are easily seen as the victim. People should open their mind broad about this case and give us women a chance to say that we are strong and that we should be seen as stands equally. Okay, lastly, our last panel will be sharing an interesting topic, which is we seen it always in our daily life. So, Dr. Vanessa Liu, she will be sharing her knowledge and experience within domestic violence with a woman. Without further delay, let's hear her opinion. Doctor?
Thank you to our chairman. I'm panel 4. My topic is women right to free from domestic violence or intimate partner violence. Domestic violence or intimate partner violence refers to any discrimination or harmful behavior by spouse or partner to their woman. In domestic violence viewpoint, there are 5 things women should free from. The first one is women should free from physically abuse from their partner. This means that the partner don't have the right to beat their woman even though they have done something very wrong. So it means that everything should be settled down in harmony ways or by law. Besides that, the second one is women should be free from mentally abused by their partner. This means that if their partner makes something that obviously make their woman stressed, the woman has the right to sue them in the court. In this case, men should treat their partner with fully cares and never judge them. Besides that, women have the right to free from psychological abuse, like harmful threatening from their partner. And the fourth one is women have the right to be free from sexual abuse by their partner, even though they are legally married. The women have the right to reject their partner's sexual request, and the partner don't have the right to force them to do so. And the last one is women should get financial support from their spouse and free from financial control or abuse. This means that husbands should give their wife alimony or financial support, and at the same time, the husband has no right to control their wife's income or money. Women have the right to use their money however they want. So, any woman that are facing domestic violence has the right to make a police report or sue their husband in the court, since there are a law that protect women from domestic violence. Besides that, any woman that's facing this situation, they can contact Women Aid Organization, WAO, for some advice. WAO is a non-government organization that provides free shelter, counseling, and crisis support for women that facing domestic violence. So as a woman, we should stand for our right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Vanessa. So from her point, even within our surround us, women are still treated poorly even in a domestic life. We have seen that women have sacrificed many of their rights just to make happy marriage life stable and everything. So for today's forum, I want to thank you so much to all of our panel for sharing your knowledge and experience as a fellow woman. What I can conclude within our discussions today that is women can be powerful actors for peace, security, and prosperity. When they participate in a peace processes and other formal decision-making processes, they can play an important role in initiating and inspiring progress on human rights. Justice, um, they can play important role in initiating and inspire progress of human rights, justice, national reconciliation, and economic revitalization. They can also build coalition across the ethnic and speak up for the martial and the minority groups. Investing in women's leadership is therefore a smart security as well as a smart development for our country. So that's the last from me. I would like to thank you again to all of our audience and panelists for today. A billion thanks I dedicated to everyone who participated within our virtual forum today. So thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning.